You're listening to the New York Sports Show, the #1 all New York sports podcast, hosted by Dominic Konareski.
The grand scheme of things when it comes to the city of West Haven, I think we could both agree on Quigley Stadium is probably one of the more minor issues that need fixing.
Yeah.
But I think at least when it comes to the area, that goes a long way.
Exactly.
100%. And that could also lead to youth sport opportunities that could bring even Notre Dame West Haven back to fully playing there full time.
Or just being able to use it as a rental space, somewhere you can actually go if they need to. That could bring in more attraction from other schools. There's some schools that don't have home fields. Like I went to my freshman year of high school, I went to Hyatt Leadership. They didn't have I don't think that's an existing school anymore, but at that time they didn't have a home field. So things like Quigley could be rented out to New Haven to utilize that as home fields for schools that don't have their own home field. So I think that we just need to revamp and rethink how we utilize our spaces. But ultimately, it comes down to community caring about the community.
Right up the street is the University of New Haven. Now, in my conversations with West Haven Mayor Boer and even people inside of UNH athletics, there have been talks of UNH wanting to buy the land. Now that is talks that have seemed to span over several previous mayoral administrations, but it seems like it's becoming more and more likely now. I've been hearing a lot more noise surrounding that, and basically the main idea is UNH would buy a lot of land, which would most likely involve some houses over there, and make it into a football field for the team to go to Division I. They're currently Division II. They just had a massive training facility construction get completed. They have everything except seating capacity, so that would make it on the trajectory of going Division I, and that would, of course, mean demolishing the stadium for a football field along with surrounding houses. How do you feel about that, if that was to happen?
I mean, it would all be dependent on what the structure of the demolition and the rebuild is. I wouldn't want to move people out of their homes, and I also see that Quigley may not have enough space for a D1 football team. Especially with the traction that UNH has been getting right now. They've been one of the top D. I just don't believe that Quigley has enough space for that, which we may have to rethink what new UNH is going to do with that position. I wouldn't turn it into more housing. I definitely would want to keep it for the community, but then that's not up to us right now. Yes. Although we would want to get in positions.
The final questions I would like to look at is just the historical standpoint. As I said earlier, the main goal is to try to make it a historical site, and when it comes to historical figures, we've had multiple New York Yankee Hall of Famers there, and both players and managers. And then, of course, you have players in the Negro League Hall of Fame, such as Satchel Paige and Willie Mays, who played there. Satchel Paige.
Willie Mays?
Yes, yep.
Wow,
Willie Mays played there in the very late 1940s after the stadium was constructed, and he played a total of 3 games there.
See, that's why people, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's
fine.
why people need to understand the history of West Haven, because back in the 40s, Willie Mays played here, and then we also had the amusement park in West Haven as well. So there was so much going on within our city. I heard rumors, but I'm not sure if this is 100% true, that Walt Disney was actually thinking about creating
I heard those
Disney
same
in
rumors.
West Haven.
Yes, I heard those same rumors.
You know that we had an attractive position just in the public eye. So we need to get back to that, and right now we're just not there, especially with the biggest shoreline in the state. I think we need to do something about that.
Yeah, you had Willie Mays play 3 games in the late 1940s. Satchel Paige played there, pitched a complete game. The Kansas City Monarchs played several games there as well. And then, of course, you had Mickey Mantle try to do a mini home run derby before a West Haven Yankee game. That was actually one of his final appearances as a New York Yankee in any kind of way. Never hit a home run, though. But there's a lot of history that was at the stadium. When I myself was playing there, I felt like I didn't deserve to be playing there, because if you look at the list of historical figures in the baseball world who stepped foot in the batter's box there, even at the top step of the dugout as a manager, it really is incredible.
Yeah.
So when it comes to making a historical site, is that something that you would be interested in doing if you would to win in November?
Well, I would have to have a conversation with everybody who has been connected to Quigley for a while. I know you do have your connection. You have your story. You've done your due diligence, and I will want to do my due diligence as well, just to make sure that we're going in the right direction. And that's the main thing for me. Yes, I will make it a historic spot if that is going to benefit West Haven the most. And ultimately, it comes down to benefiting the community, and that's the most important thing for me. And then turn into the youth and how we can bring that back to the youth if that's something that we want to do. But that will probably be the best way to go about things, because you never know what can happen if we do kind of rethink how we look at the historic sites, because I'm not sure if that's the best way to utilize the space. But yeah, that would be my answer.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, it was a true pleasure, true honor to have you on, especially with your busy schedule ahead of election season of ramping up too. We're getting really close to November. And I also like to thank the West Haven RTC for allowing us to use their headquarters for this interview. It was very nice of them to allow us to do that. And thank you once again for coming on.